Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Baking with Becca. Today I have a raspberry white chocolate bundt cake plan for you. Bundt cakes are a great and versatile kind of baked good because you can add in different mix-ins and different toppings. I, for one, love raspberry and white chocolate because you get the sweetness of white chocolate coupled with the tartness of raspberries. It's a great combination. So without further ado, let's go bake a bundt cake. Here's the list of ingredients you'll need to make this recipe. Don't worry about writing them all down, as they'll be posted along with the video in the recipe sheet. To begin, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Coat your bundt pan with a nonstick spray, making sure to get all up the edges. After you've sprayed it, go ahead and toss some flour in the pan and gently nudge it into all the nooks and crannies. You really want this to be nice and coated. Set your pan aside for later, and we'll continue on to making the batter. In a medium-sized mixing bowl, measure out 2½ cups of flour. Then, measure out 2 tablespoons of flour into a separate bowl. This is to coat the raspberries before we add them into the batter so that they won't sink to the bottom. Next, add in 2½ teaspoons of baking powder and ½ teaspoon of salt to your flour. Stir it around until evenly combined and set aside. In a large mixing bowl, add a 1.5 sticks of softened butter. Beat on high speed for about 2 minutes. Add in 1 cup of sugar and beat on high for another 30 seconds. Then we'll add in our last ½ cup of sugar and beat on high for a whole minute. Don't forget to scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add 3 eggs, one at a time, beating well after each addition. You'll want to make sure you let your eggs come to room temperature before you add them to your batter. A cold egg will make the butter solidify and make your batter separate, and we don't want that. After adding the last egg, beat on medium speed for 1 minute. Scrape down the sides of your bowl again and mix one more time to ensure that the eggs have evenly incorporated into your batter. Add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to your 1¼ cup of room temperature buttermilk. Stir around and set aside. Now we're ready to combine our wet and our dry ingredients. We'll do this in 3 parts. We'll start with 1/3 of our dry ingredients and half of the buttermilk and vanilla. Beat that together. Then we'll add in the second part of the flour and the last bit of the buttermilk. Then we'll add in the last bit of the dry ingredients and continue mixing. Now we're ready to add in the last few ingredients. Grab that 3/4 cup of raspberries tossed in flour and dump them on in. Grab your 3 ounces of white chocolate, finely chopped, and dump that in. And grab your 1 teaspoon of lemon zest and pop that in there too. Then we'll fold that all together gently so that we don't break up the raspberries, and voila! You have your cake batter. Now it's time to grab our prepared bundt cake pan and get it in the oven. Make sure to spread the batter evenly so that the cake rises evenly as well. Make sure to wipe off those little bits of cake that have gotten on the side of the pan away from the rest of the batter. They'll fool you into thinking the cake is actually done before it is. Now it's into the oven at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes. When a toothpick inserted into the center of the cake comes out clean, you're all done. Cool it on a wire cooling rack for 10 minutes, then we'll go ahead and flip it out of the bundt cake pan to finish cooling off the rest of the way. Ta-da! Look at how beautiful golden brown that is. This is why I love bundt cakes, and why it's so important for the pan to be coated generously in the beginning so that it comes out just as clean as this will. gorgeous. After letting your cake cool all the way to room temperature, we can go ahead and get our ganache ready. Ganache is simply 2 parts. We got 6 ounces of chopped white chocolate and a 1/4 cup of simmered whipping cream. Simply pour your hot whipping cream over the top of the chocolate and let it stand for 1 minute. Then you can stir it together until completely smooth. Let that cool for about 20 minutes so that we can have it a nice drizzling consistency for the cake. Now our cake is ready to decorate. I put my ganache into a piping bag to make a nice design on top, but you can also use a Ziploc bag and trim the corner, or you can just put it on with a spatula, or you can drizzle it out straight from the bowl. There are a lot of ways to do it, so just do what feels most comfortable to you. Now that we're all done decorating our Bundt cake, we're ready to have a slice. So one of the best things about Bundt cake is because you get it in those beautiful pans. When you coat it right and it comes out right, you get these wonderfully crisp lines, and it makes for a really striking cake. The frosting didn't come out exactly the way I wanted to. I wanted it to be a little bit more drizzly, but that's okay. It will still taste the same, and I think it's ready for eating. So let's take a slice. So small. Hopefully you get a raspberry in there. There we go. Bundt cake is so great. It makes for such a moist, delicious cake. And I do lick frosting off of my fingers, because why not? All right, let's try this. Yep. The lemon in there is the perfect accompaniment for the extra tang to go with the raspberry, and it just helps balance out the sweetness of white chocolate, because white chocolate is just very, very decadent. Man, that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna eat the rest of this piece. You go home and try a bake. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.